Hello everybody, I'm going to do a video about something that we need to do, which is called pollination. And it is the season for pollen. Pollen is everywhere and some people can't stand it. Some people are what we call allergic to pollen. Pollen can irritate them, make them sneeze, make them feel very watery. An allergy is when the body reacts to something for some reason it doesn't like. It could be, for example, nuts. It could be, for example, dust. It could be many different types of food or drink. Some are quite random. Some, like pollen, are very common. Pollen itself is all about how plants reproduce. They need to get a boy bit of the plant to go with a girl bit of the plant. And they need to meet each other. Although the terms boy and girl are not really correct for a plant, because plants are not boys and the plants are not girls. Let's try again. So, if I have, and I'm going to get my picture because I cannot draw these things at all. I went in my Corp NO4 book and I'm going to find a picture of some pollination to help me. It looks like so. And I need to make sure that I have in my flower, I'm going to do here, I'm going to have lots of things on the side and a bit in the middle, like so. Okay, that will do. The pollen usually lives on the end here, okay? This is the pollen. And these things here, the big sticks the pollen on, they are called the stamen in English. In Swedish, I can call it a ståndare. The pollen wants to go to a different plant and then come onto this bit here. This bit here is called the stigma, or I can say in Swedish, pistil. But the trick is, how does it get there? How can this go to a different plant and fall on the right bit to transfer the information to make a new plant start? Well, there are two different types of pollination for two different types of plants. I can firstly have the wind pollination and I can have the insect pollination. Do I want insects to do my job, passing my little bits on, or do I want the wind? Insects is very common. Usually I need to have lots of flowers and they need to be bright. If I want flowers to come in to my, start again. If I want insects to come in and take some of that pollen, I have to trick them. I have to make them think there's something really good in there. Some flowers then contain lots of sweet material, because then those insects will want to fly in, want to get that sweet things, and they maybe just rub a little bit of pollen onto their bum. And then they have to go to another plant and they rub off that pollen. Genius. Genius. But the flowers have to put in a lot of work. Have to make sure they're super attractive so they get the insects in and then they can pass on the information. Wind does a little bit different. If it's wind pollination, it needs to make much more. Because the insects go from one flower to the next flower to the next flower. You've got a good chance of going to another flower. If you're wind, you're going to go absolutely everywhere. There is no control over where you go. It may not be very effective at all. So that there is something that the plants need to do. They also need to be earlier in the year. They need to be earlier because it is so hard to have the right chance that If you leave it too late, the leaves that fall from the tree actually are a problem. So usually you get the flowers and the bright kind of pollination types of insects happening later in the year. Earlier in the year is with wind pollination, so things like grass, for example. So people that have a grass pollen allergy usually get it quite early in the year, about April or May possibly. I think that's it. I think if you understand this here, you've got different types of pollination. Pollination's about getting the genetic information to start a new plant, and hopefully it works. Thank you very much.